Saturday morning as we do a little video here for you. This is our Saturday morning series. Kind of a hodgepodge of things I have for you today, and they're in no certain order, but I have my cheat sheet I may have to refer to where I can cover everything. But let's start with locations. It seems like people, especially in full line, we're not going to talk about bulk here, but in full line people are having a real hard time finding locations. They go out and they buy a piece of equipment they don't know much about, and the odd thing is people buy a snack machine. Guys, snack machine is the secondary machine to the vending industry. Soda machines are the primary. I covered it in the first or second video. For every $10 that goes in a soda machine, excuse me, only $5 or $6 goes in a snack machine. Now, this can change, and people can leave me a comment and tell me that their snack does 100 and the soda only does 40. Well, that's maybe an extreme situation, but for the most part, 2 to 1. People drink a soda, 2 of them, 1 of them gets a snack to go with it. So I don't necessarily recommend you buy a snack machine first. If you only put a snack machine in, say, a hotel, and they already have Coke or Pepsi or 7-Up in there, you're really leaving a lot of money on the table. There's a reason that Coke and Pepsi, the big bottlers, there's other ones, don't operate snacks in 95% of their markets. Now, there are a few franchises that do have full line routes that do lunchroom, snacks, office coffee service, that are tied in with Coke and Pepsi, but for the most part they only operate soda machines. That's the business they're in. They know that's the cream of the crop. They're going to make the most money. So I guess what I'm getting at is, for locations, if you're going to start out and you say, you know, I'm going to invest this money I have in my savings account, I strongly recommend you start with a soda machine, a couple of them. We've talked about trying to stick with the same brands, so at some point when you get bigger, you're only carrying parts for one brand of machine. The big 3, big 4, Dixie Narco, Vendo, and Royal. I was never around Royals because in Reno all we had was Vendos and Dixie Narcos. When I went to Vegas, I spent 10 years there as a distributor. All Coke used was Royals, so I had to kind of get used to Royals later in life, but they're all good machines. As far as locations goes, guys, when you walk in a place, be dressed. Be dressed for success. I've talked about proper attire. You know, even a nice shirt with your name, even with khakis, is okay. You don't necessarily have to wear a suit, although a lot of the big guys, they do wear suits, so that may be a little much for some of us, just the blue-collar guys, but don't go in sloppy clothes. Secondary, when you go in and you're going to solicit for business, you need to practice, and I'll tell you why. Not everybody is a salesperson. There has to be at least a couple of dozen questions that can come to mind right now. I could probably recite them without a cheat sheet, but you have to have answers to all these questions. The big one is commission. What are you going to tell them? Okay. Another big one is, you know, power. How much power does it use? Another one is insurance. Yes, you need insurance. These big companies, we still do a limited amount of outside service work. We can't get on the property without liability insurance, and most of them want $1 million, and that's minimum, and some of the big companies want $2 million. I haven't really heard of any more for our type of people, but I would recommend in your portfolio have your insurance paper say, yes, we are insured, be able to lay it right there on the desk for them. Portfolio is important. Flyers can get a little bit expensive because you may only want to get 50 or 100 made. We do all of our business card work and our flyers when we were still operating. We did them at vistaprint.com. Well, the more you make, the cheaper they are. You might get 50 flyers and it might cost you $200, but you might get 500 and it's only $250. So kind of have to make a decision. Are you getting in this business? Are you going to pull the trigger? Are you going to invest some money? It's not just about buying that first soda machine for $500 and putting it out. That's how a lot of people start, but once you start expanding and you want new business, maybe near your existing business, we've talked about that, drive less. But when you go in, those questions, there are a lot of them, and people will always ask. The big one is, how much commission do I pay? A lot of the successful vendors, the guys that have been in it for a long time, they have very few commission locations, and I'll tell you why. If you tell that admin person or whoever's in charge of that lunchroom that the commission has to be added on the sale price of the product, and wouldn't it be better to give your employees the lowest possible prices? Just last week on Facebook, people were talking about 75-cent soda in cans. Guys, that's a thing of the past. 75-cent soda went out 10 or 15 years ago. The problem is, when you don't charge enough, you're not going to have the money in reserve to maybe expand or to maybe have those repairs done when your machine goes down. So have some cost comparison. We all see Snickers or M&Ms or Cokes or whatever in the stores, you know, 2 for $1. Those are lost leaders. You can't go in and buy 4 cases of Snickers at 2 for $1. You've got to go to the discount stores, the Sam's and the Costco's, and you have to pay 68 cents a candy bar. So how can you sell them for $1, and how can you give a 10% commission? Let the people know that you have got to add that commission to the sale price, and for the most part, you're putting the weight on the back of the employee that goes in that lunchroom. Let the admin person know, listen, down at XYZ supermarket, a candy bar is $1.39. Quote the prices at the C stores, guys. Do you know a can in my town, and I looked at this after we had a little discussion on 75-cent soda. If you go in the corner store here, which is a national chain, I won't mention it, one can, 12 ounces, is $1.39. And I commented to the girl, I just was inquisitive. I wanted to know how long it's been that price, and she said from what she remembers, a year, and generally it goes up yearly after the first of the year. So guys, $1 can should not be a problem in outside locations like hotels where the public uses them. $1.25, $1.50 is not out of the question. Now at $1.50, you're probably paying a quarter in commission. So guys, most of your spots you're going to get are going to be closed in in-house locations where only the people that work there, plus maybe some delivery people, truck drivers, will be able to use those machines. So it's a lot less hassle not paying commission. It's just one more thing you have to do at the end of the month, at the end of the quarter. And if you're going to offer commission, you certainly better pay them when you tell them, or that's going to be grounds for, you know, removal of your spot. So anyways, guys, let me go down my cheat sheet here, see what else I wanted to talk to you about. But locations is the one thing, guys. You have to have answers to those questions they ask. People have not asked much, because they don't know about it, about ADA approved or approval machines. For the most part, it's not a widely talked about subject, but it's going to be. And you hate to invest a ton of money in something that's you're not going to be able to use later except in your man cave at home. So I like uniformed staff when you have service people. When you go into these new locations, it tells them who you are. Somebody can't walk in with a ring of keys and empty the cash boxes, which, believe it or not, it does happen. Pricing, we talked about the C stores. Here's another thing as far as commission goes. It's much easier. Find out if they're dead set on commissions. Find out when they have their office party. Is it Christmas, or do they have a picnic? It would be much easier that when it comes picnic time in July, that you just give 8 cases of soda to that picnic. So anyways, guys, this is number 5. Hopefully this will benefit you in some way. Last but not least, I want to talk to you about legalities. I'm by far not an attorney. I'm also not a fan. However, being in business, I see people time and time again asking, do we need a license? Do we need a sales tax permit? Do we need a DBA? Do we need an LLC? I'm not so sure that YouTube and Facebook, although they are awesome for a lot of things, I don't think that's really the place you need to be asking for legal advice. Do some research. I have heard, although I've not used them, that LegalZoom is quite reputable. They have a very high rating. They can help you. I think they're relatively inexpensive. But there's a lot more people like that out there. But as far as asking, these questions, if you're in Rome, Texas, and I'm in Oakland, California, it's night and day what you need. California has sales tax on vended products. Right next door, Nevada, except cigarettes, they don't have sales tax. You can sell a bag of beef jerky for $3.50 and there's no sales tax. But in California, you sell something for 50 cents and you're going to pay that 4 cents. So anyways, guys, go to your legal municipality's web page. Everybody has one now as far as licensing goes. They're going to tell you what you need. Some need a state license as well as a city license. I know in Nevada, when we were currently operating there, we had to have a state license completely separate from Las Vegas, which is where I was situated. So you need 2 licenses. They're kind of double dipping. So get it straight, guys. People in these groups, unless you find somebody in your state, they probably aren't going to be able to help you on Facebook. So do a little research before you ask these questions. Get the answers and then share the answers you have. But you got to tell them, I'm in Dallas, Texas, or I'm in Seattle, Washington. Otherwise, it's not going to make a bit of difference to the guy that's in upstate New York or along the New Jersey shore. So anyways, guys, number 5, Saturday morning tips. We'll have something for you next week for number 6. If you have any questions, suggestions, let me know. We're happy to be here for you, and we are planning for a much better 2021. Guys, have a safe remainder of the holidays, and New Year's coming up in a couple of days as we film this. So guys, for now, appreciate you being here. Doug at not Nevada Arcade anymore, at Doug's World Tour, out.